And welcome back to WPSD Local 6 Midday as we extend a warm welcome to Dr. Tony Milliano of Audiology and Hearing Center, Paducah and Murray. And before we get into the questions for today, Doctor, I understand there's some big things happening in Murray. Tell us about those.
There are huge things happening in Murray. We're actually building a new office in Murray. It should be very easy to find because it's exactly right next door to the office that we currently are in. So it's 1713 Highway 121, just down from the CFSB Center. So it's going to be a great new facility for our patients. Should be easy to find, and we look forward to seeing you there.
All right, get into our questions for today. We have a question from Lenore who says, I can hear, I'm just having trouble hearing children and other women's voices. Do I need hearing aids?
Well, that's a great question. Obviously, the first thing you need to do is get an evaluation from a doctor of audiology to determine exactly what your hearing loss is. But it sounds like your symptoms where you're having difficulty hearing women and children are very common. It may be that you have a high pitch or a high frequency hearing loss where you can hear a lot of voices, but understanding is very different than hearing. You can hear the voices, but you just simply can't understand them. So that's very common for individuals that have a high frequency hearing loss. So hearing aids are very often very helpful for that kind of hearing loss.
Next question comes from someone who does have hearing aids. However, this person is saying, I'm typically hearing some echoes when I have my hearing aids in. Is there anything that can be done about this?
There certainly is. Depending on the hearing loss, depending on how the hearing aids are adjusted. At first, when you first try hearing aids, it's not uncommon that your voice sounds a little funny. Sometimes people say it has an echo, but that's something that should get much better within the first few weeks of wearing hearing aids. If that's something that is persistent, then it could be that maybe they need a little bit of an acoustic adjustment. It could be that they're not fitting properly. Could be something as simple as earwax being in your ear. So that's something you need to certainly go back to your provider and have looked at, because that is something that should be fairly easily resolved.
Our next question comes from Jerry, who evidently has just gotten hearing aids not too long ago and wants to know, do I need to bring in my hearing aids for service every so often? And if so, will this extend the life of my hearing aids?
Well, that's another great question, and certainly hearing aids are a significant investment, and in order to protect your investment, just like protecting the investment of your car, you need to have ongoing service. So after an initial adjustment period where we have our patients come in for several visits after they're first initially fit, long term we generally follow up with our patients about every 6 months, and some of them even more frequently than that. I always say it's kind of like an oil change in your car. It just never stops. So that ongoing care is very important in protecting your investment.
I have about 30 seconds or so left, and Penny has become an avid pickleball player and wants to know, will the perspiration while I'm playing pickleball hurt my hearing aids?
Most hearing aids nowadays have what's called a antimicrobial coating on them. So there is a protective coating against moisture, humidity, perspiration, things like that. So we have people who do all kinds of sports activities and perspire with their hearing aids, and we encourage our people to be active and as involved as they possibly can. So I think you're probably safe to play pickleball with your hearing aids.
Very good advice indeed. Our thanks to Dr. Tony Milliano, Audiology and Hearing Center. He is a doctor of audiology, by the way, and we thank him for his advice today, and we thank you for watching. If you would like to review this segment, you can do so very shortly. Check it online at WPSDlocal6.com. And don't forget that coming up in just a few minutes, Dr. Milliano will be on for a full 30 minutes of answering your hearing aid questions. That's coming up shortly at 12:30.